to my cutest little children. Just give me a second and let me see if at all I am audible as well as visible. Perfectly fine. So I am visible, and let me just put it in the group also. Okay, cool. So by the time that every children comes, let's go ahead and just talk about what we did previously and what are we going to go today. Okay, so over here in the previous session, so I took two videos, or basically I took two live sessions for sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In the first one, I spoke about microsporogenesis, or basically I spoke majorly about the male reproductive structure of the plant. Now in the second one, it was a very important lecture. If at all you're someone who have missed it, you can just look out for the same thumbnail out there. It will be written as part 2, where I had explained about the female reproductive parts, and also I spoke about double fertilization, which is one of the most important topics out there, which you should absolutely not miss. Now in between of all of it comes a little topic, a small chuttu topic, and that topic is known as pollination, which is also important. Why? Because you get KCET ready questions related to that, and we cannot miss it. So we'll study about pollination today, different types of it. We'll talk about artificial hybridization. We'll talk about outbreeding devices, and I know at this particular point of time everything might be like this, but everything will come directly over here. Just wait for some time and listen to me carefully. Okay, good evening nature heaven, very good evening dear. I hope all of you who are watching this are doing good, and I hope at least some of you in your schools, the classes or colleges, your classes might have already started, and in that case this chapter would be really helpful, because in most of the colleges this is the first chapter that they pick up. Okay, so I hope with that belief that we are ready for acing today's session, and the first thing that we're going to talk about is the types of pollination. But first of all, before I go ahead with that, what do you exactly mean by pollination? Pollination basically means just one thing: transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of the flower. That's all. The transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of the flower is known as pollination. Please understand that. Cool. Now, nature heaven, I'm a big fan of you, ma'am. Oh my God, I'm also a big fan of you. I hope of my teaching. Yes. So listen to me very carefully. We studied about the female, the male part and everything. We studied that there is a sticky part over here, and that is known as stigma. And this whole unit that we see is known as what? The pistil, or you also call it as carpel, or you also call it as the gynoecium. That is the female part. Cool. Now when I say there is a transfer of pollen grain from anywhere else onto the stigma, that is known as what? Pollination. It's known as pollination, and we are going to learn in depth about this particular process. It's important, so make sure you listen to me very carefully. Okay, this is the basic part out there. Now if at all I ask you a question, that is, Bacha, fertilization happened over here, sorry, pollination happened over here. Okay, pollination as in the pollen came and landed over here. Do you think that fertilization is going to compulsorily happen? Do you think that fertilization, the process of fertilization, double fertilization, is going to compulsorily happen if at all the pollen grains land on the stigma? In that case, if at all you're thinking yes, the answer is no. Exactly, nature and Nagaraj, thank you for saying the answer. Okay, so it's a big no. Always understand, even if pollination happens, we cannot guarantee that fertilization could happen. This is an important question, had come before. You should be taking a note of that. Cool. And now we start with the first type of pollination, which is known as autogamy. What do you mean by autogamy? For that, again, I might need the help of a picture. So listen, I'll explain you everything in one go, and that too very easily. So here's a sweet little flower. This is the female part, and this is the male part that you are having over here. Okay, now this particular plant has another flower. Again, the female part is right over here and the male part is right over here. Okay, now suppose pollen grains are here and they come and land on the stigma of the same flower. In this condition, do you say it's pollination that is happening? Yes. What type of pollination? You have a name for it. This is known as autogamy, or popularly it is also known as what? Self-pollination. Self-pollination, because from here to here it's just going, that's all, within the same flower. This is a very unique feature about it. Now ma'am, what if the pollen grains which are right over here, they are like, Macha, I'm not going to land up there, I want to explore, I will be going up and landing over here in a different flower. Different flower. But this different flower is of the same plant, right? So I have to write that. They are different flowers, but it is of the same plant. Now, will you call this as autogamy because it is happening in the same plant itself? No. Why? Why will you not call it autogamy? Because two different flowers are being involved over here. So, ma'am, that means that you have another name for it. Yes, you have another name for it, and that is known as geitonogamy. It's known as geitonogamy. Now, ma'am, will you call this as? Exactly, Nagraj, it is known as geitonogamy. Now, will you call this as self-pollination? The answer would be no. You will not call this as self-pollination. Self-pollination is the only case where it is happening between the same flower itself. You will never call this as self-pollination. Rather, you have a different thing for it. You say it's cross-pollination. Cross-pollination, that is happening up over here. Okay, ma'am, I have one doubt there. In this particular case, if at all you call this as cross-pollination and stuff like that, what will you call this type of pollination where this is plant 1 and there is another plant which is plant 2? So this is another plant which is what, Baba? This is plant 2. And what if the pollen grains which are over here, they come and they land on the stigma of this particular plant? Now over here, do you think the plant is same? No. So I'll say different plant. Different plant. Okay, okay. What about the flower? Is it same flower? No, it is different flower also. Different flower. What do you call this type of pollination? As someone already gave me the answer. That is what nature heaven said, xenogamous. Yes, this particular process, this type of pollination which is happening between two different plants entirely, you will call this as what? Xenogamy. What do you call it? Xenogamy. So ma'am, this is also cross-pollination, right? Two different things are happening up over here. Cross-pollination, it should be like that only. Yes, this is cross-pollination. I do not deny it. I will say that this is also cross-pollination. But ma'am, that's not fair. This thing being cross-pollination is okay, but when it is happening between the same different plant, why do you call it cross-pollination? Because two different flowers are involved. But is it true cross-pollination, actual cross-pollination, or is it just named like that? So you need to understand one thing, that is, this one is known as true cross-pollination because actually cross-pollination is happening up very nicely up over here. Okay, and I'll also give one more reason later on. And over here, you will not call this as the true cross-pollination. You just name it as cross-pollination. If at all you have been asked which one is true cross-pollination, you will say it is xenogamy. Now, why do you say it's true or not? The reason being that is, listen, when you talk about a plant, okay, different flowers or basically a plant, same flower, whatever you say, that means that it has the male and the female gamete being formed in the same plant. That means the male and the female gamete is going to be what? Genetically similar because it is being produced by the similar plant. So it has to be what? Genetically similar. So whatever you do, here pollination happens, you will be finding same type of progeny being formed. Just like the parent, the progeny will also be like that. Similarly, even if you do pollination like this, you will get a progeny that is made up of similar type of parental gametes, right? Male gamete, female gamete, everything has the same genetics only, which is why you say that this is not cross-pollination, true cross-pollination. But then this is true cross-pollination. The reason being that here two separate parents are there. From here I get the pollen, and the pollen contains what? The male gamete. This has one genetic structure or genetic nature. What about this particular plant? This plant is having the female part. That means it has the female gamete. It will be having different genetics because it is totally different plant. Now, two different genetically different varieties of plants are coming together, and that is why you say it's a true cross-pollination. Always understand that. Okay, very, very, very important. Physically cross-pollination. Exactly, Nagaraj. And always shake. Hello, good evening. Okay, so listen to me carefully over here. Yeah, so I'm coming to that. So over here, when I say that it is cross-pollination, and this is also cross-pollination, I'll say it's true cross-pollination. The reason being that two genetically different organisms are coming together. That is why you can term it as true cross, okay? Rather than this, which is physically just a cross-pollination, but genetically, okay, genetically, if at all you see, is just like autogamy. Genetically, it's like autogamy. So you need to write that point up, okay? You need to write that point up. Genetically, it is like autogamy only. Please remember that. Very, very, very important. So, Nagaraj, whatever you said is absolutely correct about gytenogamy. Yes, children, understanding? Did you understand this? And we will revise it once more. It's not like it's just the end of the story. We'll revise it. We have quick terms for each of them. We'll go one by one. I just wanted to explain all of them together once such that you have a clarity on it. If you have understood what I have told you, can you give me a thumbs up right now over here in the chat session? A thumbs up, a quick thumbs up in the chat session. It will be really good. Thumbs up means that you are understanding, okay? And if you're not, you have to ask me the question. Listen, I am not a teacher who will eat you up, okay? I'm not at all strict. I'm a very friendly teacher. You can just ask me a doubt if at all you have any, okay? Okay, always shake in nature, heaven, I've understood it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And always shake Eid Mubarak, by the way. Yes, so yeah. Now we will talk about this thing that is autogamy, the first type of pollination. Autogamy is also known as self-pollination. Yes, ma'am, we studied about it. Pollen from the anther lands on the stigma of the same flower. Yes, ma'am, we studied about it. Now, what does autogamy need? As in, for example, if at all we want autogamy to happen or self-pollination to happen, what are the key things that is required, bare minimum things that we require? The first one is synchrony in pollen release and stigma receptivity. What do you mean by that? It means that over here, the pollen which is there, it has to be released or it has to reach at the same time when the stigma over here is receptive. Receptive means ready to take this up, ready to make sure that, okay, whenever pollen comes, I am going to allow it to germinate as well. That is what you mean by stigma receptivity. So there should be synchrony. Suppose over here the pollen has come, but the stigma is not ready for allowing the germination process to happen. Do you think then in that particular case successful fertilization could happen later on? No. So we need a synchrony in pollen release and stigma receptivity. This is the first need in the case of what? In the case of, where is that guy? Yeah, in the case of autogamy. Now the second thing is that, where is the second thing? One more thing was there. Okay, anyways, I'll explain. So both of them basically, okay, the stigma as well as, the pistil as well as the male part, that is the stamen, they both have to be there together. The flower which is there, it has to be what? It has to be a bisexual flower. So that is not written over here. I'll write it. It has to be what? A bisexual flower. What do you mean by bisexual flower? Bisexual flower looks like this. That means it will be having both the male and the female part in the same flower. Then only you can have self-pollination to happen. No, this is known as bisexual. Okay, if at all only one is there, that means only the female part is there, I'll say it's unisexual. If only the male part is there, I'll again say it is unisexual. When you have both the organs, you say it is bisexual. So for autogamy, you need synchrony in pollen release and stigma receptivity. Apart from that, the flower has to be what? Bisexual flower as well. Okay, now in your NCERT, if at all you read it very carefully, they come up with some new terms just to confuse us. Okay, but these new terms which are there, it's highly important for KCET. Okay, because you have got so many questions related to this particular topic in KCET, and it's a very easy topic, so you should not miss. And thank you Asharani as well, yeah, for giving the thumbs up. So Baba, when I talk about flowers on a plant in general, there are two cases that can happen. Okay, two cases, and very easy two cases. It looks like this. Some flowers are like this. Oh my god, I'm open, I feel really good when I'm open. It's all cool over here. These are known as, these open flowers which are known as chasmogamous flowers. What do you call it? Chasmogamous flowers. Cool. Now on the other hand, you also have one more very important thing. Okay, one more type of flower is there, right up over here. It is like this. Okay, over here you will have the female part just like this. You will also have the male part. But what is the difference that you see over here? The difference that we see is that this guy is pretty much open, right? It's open. What about this guy? This guy is closed. This guy is closed. And you know what you call them? You call them as clistogamous flowers. What do you call them? Clistogamous flowers. And how do you remember it? It's a very easy thing. Some people get confused. Oh, clisto is the open one or the other one. So clisto starts with CL, right? And CL for closed. CL for closed. That is the easiest way to remember it. So they are closed flowers and they are open flowers. Now you tell me one thing. Okay, so I'm going to name this flower. Okay, this flower is 1 and this flower is 2. You tell me, whoever is watching this video, have to tell me in which of them, for sure, whatever you do, autogamy is going to happen. In which of them, for sure, autogamy is going to happen. Tell me, 1 or 2. Come on, come on. Hello, 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 hello. And Nature Ma'am, you're teaching. Thank you so much. That's so cute. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Okay, I am asking the question that is, in which one of you do you think anyway autogamy will happen for sure? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? For sure, 110% sure. Only autogamy is going to happen. Only autogamy. One more chance I'll give you. Listen to me very carefully, okay? Listen to me very carefully. I'm talking about the flower in which only autogamy is going to happen. Is it 1 or 2? What do you mean by autogamy? Autogamy means pollen grains from the same flower are going to land on the stigma of the same flower. And I am saying for sure. In chasmogamous flower, invariably. Okay. Nature heaven says it is 2 now. Okay. Anu says no idea. Okay. Krishna says 1. Hello Krishna. Okay. Now listen to me. Use the logic, Baba. Okay. You have to use the logic. Listen. Over here, there is a closed room. Okay. In this closed room, whatever comes to you, for example, you are in a closed room, and then just imagine that you are in an open space. In the closed room, whatever food is given to you, you are going to eat that only. Do you have an option that I can go out? No, you cannot go out. It's being locked. But on the other hand, when you are in open market and all, you will eat samosa, you will eat kachori, you will eat that, you will eat this, you will eat so many things out there. You have got what? Options. Similarly, over here also, Papa, this closed guy, that's closed flower which is there, does it have any option for cross-pollination to happen, Baba? No. Only one thing can happen, and that is autogamy. Autogamy means what? The pollen grains over here will be landing on the stigma of the same flower. Do you think it can undergo cross-pollination? That is known as gytonogamy or basically xenogamy and things like that. It cannot undergo, right? Because it does not have an option. Whereas when this flower is open, you need to understand that here to here, yes, autogamy can happen. Autogamy can. I'm not saying will happen for sure. It can happen. Otherwise, apart from that, the pollen grains which are over here can be going up to some other plant out there doing xenogamy, or probably it can come and land on the another open flower over here that is known as gytonogamy. Multiple options are available for this open flower, but Papa, this closed guy, I just have one option, and that is what? Autogamy only. Did you understand it? Clistogamous flower, only autogamy. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so it will only show autogamy, that is the clistogamous flowers. When you talk about chasmogamous flowers, autogamy is pretty much rare because they have multiple options. You can have whatever you want to have when you go outside, right? So this is the logic that you need to apply. Very, 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 very important. Okay, now in this particular case, when I say only Papa guy, autogamy is only happening, one good thing is also happening. What is a good thing? Do you think it needs pollinators? Pollinators is something that is going to carry the pollen grains. Over here, do you need any pollinators out there? No pollinators are required. So the good part of the story is that we do not require any pollinator over here. Okay, second good thing about the story is that, yes, Krishna said no pollinators, exactly. Apart from that, what is other good thing that you have over here? That is, someone said seed set. Who was that? Seed set. Yeah, Sheikh Shakir also said that always seed is going to be formed. So always, Baba, fertilization will be happening. Seed is definitely going to be formed. Assured seed set is what you call it. That is, you do not have to wait for any pollinators, whatever you do, because since they have both the organs, male and this female part, they will have assured seed set. They will have assured seed set. So no pollinator is required. Assured seed set is also there. That is a good thing about it. Yeah. Now, you have to tell me one bad thing about it. What is one bad thing when only autogamy is going to happen? What is the one bad thing that you can possibly think of? This is the good thing that you have. There are bad things also. Any idea? Seed set is being formed, pollinators are there. What bad can happen, ma'am? Everything is good only, jingle all life. What do you think is the good part? Any idea, any idea, any idea? No idea. No idea, then get idea. The good part of the story, the bad part of the story is that, over here, always genetically similar type, just like how their parents were there, no, similar type of progenies are going to be there. So suppose over here the parents, okay, both the female and basically the plant which is there, plant was not resistant to any pest. That means any pest could basically infect this particular plant. Now what is happening? I have the genetic material. Now to my kids, I am going to pass the exact genetic material over here, right? Because there is no option. There is no multiple, parents out there. Only one parent, two different type of gametes, but belonging to the same parent. So what is going to happen? You will not find genetic variations. Zero genetic variations. Okay, not exactly zero, but there will be lesser genetic variation, and that is a big problem. Lesser genetic variation. And when I say lesser genetic variation, that means that it can be dangerous for the plant. The plant may not even survive later on. That is, the baby plants which are going to be formed, they may not even properly survive. Okay, so please understand that there are problems when good things happen. Got it? And this, someone said outbreeding. So this thing that I just spoke about is known as inbreeding. Inbreeding means same type of thing happening again. Within the same type of plant, it is breeding again and again. This is known as inbreeding. This is known as inbreeding that is happening up over here. And lot of inbreeding leads to depression, which you call as inbreeding depression. What do you mean by inbreeding depression? It's basically nothing. Inbreeding depression means if at all is the same type of things which are coming back again and again, it is going to make progenies weaker, okay, and that's why we say, and they may not even survive, which is why we call this particular thing as inbreeding depression. Okay, so basically because of inbreeding that is happening up over here, you have lesser genetic variation, and when you say that you have lesser genetic variation, that means that toxic characters can build up, and that could lead to what, even the death of the plants or sickening of the plants and things like that, which you call as inbreeding depression, about which we will be studying later on. Okay, we will be studying about that later on as well. Are you getting it? Okay, so I'll just sum it up once so that everything is back to our brain. All the plants that we see, okay, at least some type of plants that we see, they might have two type of flowers. One is chasmogamous flowers, which are always open, and one is clistogamous flowers, which are always closed. Now, chasmogamous flowers can undergo autogamy, rarely, okay, can undergo geitonogamy, can undergo xenogamy. Everything is possible for the chasmogamous flowers or the open flowers. When you talk about clistogamous flowers, they do not have option. They will always do one thing only, and that is autogamy, self-pollination. No options left. Okay, now do they require pollinators? No. So that's a good thing, no pollinators required. Second thing, there will be always seed sets that are going to be formed. Always seed will be there. So we say this is assured seed set formation would be there. Okay, that is a good part of the story. What is the bad part of the story? Bad part of the story is that there will be less genetic variation. Why? Because this is self-pollination or basically inbreeding, and because of this inbreeding, it can also lead to what? Inbreeding depression later on. So that is a very, very big problem. Got it? Did you get it? If yes, give me a thumbs up right away. If yes, give me a thumbs up right away. Madiha, I'll try. They are not giving the word because even I'm not sure. Okay, but I'll try, definitely try. Okay, so always shake nature and Krishna, thank you for giving the thumbs up, and I think that you guys are understanding. By the way, from the time you come for the next class, make sure you bring your friends also along with me. Along with you. Along with me, yeah. Okay, anyways, so this is the story that we have about them. And now we go back to this particular thing. So, Chasmogamous flowers are open flowers with exposed anthers and stigma, can undergo self or cross-pollination. We just discussed about it. That means it can undergo autogamy or gynogamy and xenogamy as well. Clistogamous flowers, they are closed flowers, no exposure to external pollen. Only autogamy is going to occur. A short seed set is going to be there even without any pollinators. Now, what is the advantage? Clistogamy, is it advantageous or disadvantageous? Advantage is that there will be seed set produced every now and then. Disadvantage is that there won't be any genetic diversity. Okay, now listen to me carefully over here. So the thing is, one more thing is something that we need to know. Chasmogamous flowers mostly are located towards the upper surface, to the upper area. When you talk about clistogamous, the closed one, okay, anyway, they do not need pollinators. So they are mostly towards the root region, either towards the root region or just above the soil. Now, I will be showing a picture. This is clistogamous flowers. Okay, real clistogamous flowers. They are closed and basically just above the root. So always remember the closed ones, since they do not need any pollinators, they can be just here or within the soil as well. Yes. And we have 3 examples of plants which have both type of flowers. Okay, 3 examples of plant which have both type of flowers, and the best way to remember them is moo. What is moo? Cow. Okay, what is it? Cow. So always remember, I know that cow has W, but over here this cow has V. What does C stand for? C stands for Commelina. It stands for Commelina. What does O stand for? O stands for Oxalis. Commelina, Oxalis, and V for what? Viola. So Commelina, we speak, it seems like we are speaking Spanish, but yes, that is how we have to remember it. Commelina, Oxalis, and Viola. Okay, Commelina, Oxalis, and Viola. Cow is something, yes, exactly, nature. How many questions will come? We need examination, ma'am. Ayoyo, that I cannot guarantee, da. Okay. I hope that works. Okay, COV is done. Yeah, please do not forget, this is also very, very important. Cool. Now, before I go ahead with the other things out there, okay, I'll explain just one more thing and then we'll go ahead with the question. Hello, Anmol Singh. Hello. Okay. Now, we come to gynogamy and xenogamy. We spoke about it already. Gynogamy means what? Pollen lands on the stigma of another flower of the same plant. So from here to here, if it is landing, okay, it's not between the same flower, it is between the different flowers but of the same plant. This is known as gynogamy. So if at all we see, it's functionally cross-pollination, but genetically, okay, functionally it is cross-pollination because 2 different flowers are involved, but genetically it's just like autogamy. Why? Because the male and the female gamete over here is also belonging to the same plant. No. So genetically it's just like autogamy. Remember it. Now over here, when you talk about xenogamy, things are going to be different. 2 different plants are there. Pakka cross-pollination is happening over here. I'll say true cross-pollination also. Why do I say true cross-pollination? Because 2 different plants, that means 2 different genetic varieties. They are coming together, it will give rise to more diversity. So it's true cross-pollination. If at all you're being asked which one brings the most genetic diversity, always understand it has to be xenogamy. It has to be xenogamy. Do not forget it. Okay? Cool. I hope that works. Anmol, sir, today is not class. Ayo. I am okay. Thank you for asking. Yes, I am okay, dear. Hello, Darshan. Hello. I hope you're doing great. Yes. Okay. Now, can we go ahead with the next thing that is there? Always shake. So actually, NEET totally has been done by a separate set of teachers, and KCET has been done by separate set of teachers. The reason being that there are so many other things that also on goes with this, which you do not see in YouTube. You get it? There are multiple other things, which is exactly why the work has been divided. That's exactly why I'm not getting into NEET. Yes. Okay? So I hope you do understand. And I'll try, if at all I can, to find, I am able to find some notes and things like that. I can share it in the WhatsApp group. Yes. Now, going ahead with the next thing that we have is a question. So, the question goes like this. This is from KCET 2016. Which one of the following statement is correct? And you guys have to give me the answer for this. Okay. Which one of the following statement is correct? Correct is being asked. So, underline first of all. Even if you solve questions for NEET, please know what are you being asked. Read the question carefully before reading the options. Now, chasmogamous flowers always exhibit geitonogamy. Is it? Chasmogamous, open flowers, always exhibit geitonogamy? I don't know. Clistogamous flowers always exhibit autogamy. Chasmogamous flowers never exhibits autogamy. Clistogamous flowers exhibits both autogamy and geitonogamy. What do you think is the answer? Kavita says the answer for this question is B. B. Kavita is okay. Ma'am, is MS Ramaya good for BSc Biotechnology? BSc Biotechnology, dear, I have to check. Is genetically good. It's generally good genetically. Generally good for engineering and the medical courses which are there. BSc Biotechnology specifically, if at all you ask, I have to check. Okay. So Kavita gave me the answer as B. Krishna gave me answer B. And Always Sheikh also said it is B. B is what? Clistogamous flowers always exhibit autogamy. And my dear children, you have understood the thing clearly. Okay, so which one is correct? This one, why not the others? Chasmogamous flowers always exhibit geitonogamy would be wrong. An open flower can exhibit autogamy, geitonogamy, xenogamy, anything. Always term is there, which is why it is wrong. Chasmogamous flowers never exhibit autogamy, that will also be wrong. As I said, it can do everything. Clistogamous flowers exhibit both autogamy and geitonogamy. Clistogamous, Baba, close, they cannot do all of this thing. They can just do one thing, and that is B. Got it? Which is why the answer for this question is B. And Sinchana also gave me the correct answer, and Anmol also gave me the correct answer. Perfect. So, Macha, you guys are understanding, and I feel really happy after so many. You know what? I was not expecting children to show up for these classes, because as of now, I don't think for everyone 2027 classes have begun, but I'm happy. Okay, that's the vigor. Good going. Shall we go ahead with the next topic? If yes, give me a thumbs up. So that's the rule. After every concept, I'll ask you to give me a thumbs up. If you understand, then only give me a thumbs up. If not, ask me. Okay? Shall we go ahead with the next topic? That is agents of pollination. Agents of pollination. Okay, so someone gave me thumbs up. Krishna gave me thumbs up. Always Sheikh also gave me thumbs up. So let's go ahead. So one more question is there. Sorry. One more question is there. Let's try this one also. Which of the following character is not required for autogamy? Not required. Which one is not required for autogamy? 2017 question. Flowers require synchrony in pollen release and stigma maturation. Anthers and stigma should lie close to each other. Flowers should be bisexual. Required pollination agents. What do you think is not correct in this particular question? A, B, C, D, you have got the options and you have to choose from one. Kavita says the answer for this question is D. Krishna also says it is D. Madhya says it is D. Okay, everyone says D. Is it D? Yes, this is not required. No, Baba, you're talking about autogamy. They are the stigma and the pistil and the stamen are very close to each other. They are bisexual already. You need synchrony between both of them. That is the only thing that you require. But when you talk about pollination agents, you do not require it. Why? Because they are very close to each other. Right? D, definitely. Yes, we are locking it, nature and also Anmol. Perfect. And now we can go ahead with the next topic, that is agents of pollination. Now, how many agents of pollination do you know, Baba? How many pollination agents are there? Basically, I can broadly divide into two categories, biotic and abiotic. Okay, biotic and abiotic. Biotic means when living organisms does help in pollination, you will say it's biotic agent. For example, you have your bee, okay, you have butterfly, you have rodents, they also help in pollination somehow. So this is what comes under what? Yes, Krishna. Okay, so animal which is there, it comes under biotic agents. Now abiotic means wind, water, they are helping pollination. Okay, now which one is more common? Obviously biotic is something that is more common. If at all you have a comparison between abiotic and biotic, I'll definitely say it is biotic which is more common. Now when you talk about abiotic, which one is more common? When you talk about abiotic means what? You're talking about wind and water. Which one will be more common over here? Wind is something that is more common. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is going to be wind. Okay, so Anmol Singh, entomophily, hydrophily, wind, yes, very good. Okay, the first one is wind pollination, and over here you call it as anemophily or anemophily, whatever you want to say. Anyway, that is not given in your NCERT, it's just something that you can know, that's all. Now, listen to me very carefully. When you say wind is a pollinating agent, you need to understand that wind has to transfer what? Pollen grain. Right? Now, if the pollen grain is like this, do you think it can get transferred? It will be like, I am not going to move anywhere, macha. Wind cannot move me. That should not be the case, right? So, the first and the foremost thing that you need to understand is that the pollen grain which is there, it has to be light. It has to be what? Light in weight. And not just that, it has to be non-sticky as well. That means, if at all the pollen is like, I am not going to move anywhere, I'll be just here. Do you think it will work? No, Baba. It should not stick anywhere. It should just move around very clearly. So, pollen has to be light and non-sticky. The reason I am explaining you this with expression is that basically you get second PUC questions. Okay, in second PUC midterm when it comes, no, you will get questions on the basis of what are the features of wind pollinating flowers. So you will remember all these crazy things that I am doing over here, and probably you will get your answer correct also. So it is light and non-sticky in nature. That's what we talk about the pollen grains. Now we spoke about the pollen grains. Now you just imagine, if the pollen grains are going like this, there should be someone to take them up and say like, Macha, you come here, I need you. And that is what? That is going to be your stigma. Your stigma which is there onto which your pollen grain has to come and land. You need to understand that they have to be large. Why? Because they have to hold that particular pollen. As I mean, they have to catch up that particular pollen. And not just large, they have to be feathery to trap the pollen grains. So stigma over here will be large and feathery to trap the pollen grains. Always understand, biology is not a subject where you just have to do mug up. Yes, you're required to do mug up at some time, but not over here. Okay, so when you have got a chance to understand things, try to understand it. Okay, so about pollen grain we know, about stigma we know. Now we are going a bit more ahead. Stamen. What about stamen? The stamen which is there, it has to be well exposed. What do you mean by that? What is stamen? Stamen is anther and the filament. Anther has the pollen grains. You spoke about as pollen that they have to be light and sticky and non-sticky and things like that. But they also have to be well exposed. Now suppose they are over here. Wind is passing from here. Arey, how will pollen grain go? It has to be over here. No, it has to be very long, such that when the wind comes, basically it can carry the pollen grain as well. So always know that stamen has to be well exposed. What? Well exposed. Okay, remember that also. So we know about this, we know about this, we know about this. Now we speak about what? The flowers. What about the flowers? The flower which is there, usually they will be having one ovule per ovary. What is ovule per ovary? Listen, ovary has ovule, right? Ovule is a thing that will be transforming into a seed if at all fertilization has taken place. Right. Now, in the case of watermelon, papaya, you have multiple ovules. It's okay. In this particular case, the plants that undergo wind pollination, they generally have one ovule per ovary. So, some of you might be thinking, why, ma'am, why this conjugacy? Listen. The chances for wind pollination, everything to happen is very, very rare. If at all you keep on making ovules and if no pollination is happening, it will be a waste of energy for the plant. Right? Right. So, which is why we can remember that usually the flowers which are there, okay, the flowers which are there, they are actually many. And the many flowers, they are grouped up together to form an inflorescence. So, many flowers, small, chutu flowers come together to look big. I mean, not look big exactly, but they are big such that pollination can happen if at all through wind anything comes up. But all the flowers, okay, the flowers of this inflorescence, they will just have one ovule per ovary. One ovule per ovary, single ovule per ovary. So please remember that also. Now, the next important thing about them is the example. Wind pollination is usually seen in the case of grasses. Very, very, very important. In the case of grasses, you have wind pollination. Just imagine right now, you have to imagine one thing, grass just moving like this. Then you will never forget grass is an example of wind pollination. Second thing that you might miss is corn cob. Okay, so the corn cob over here, the picture is given in your NCERT like this. Actually, it looks something like this. So over here, the tassels that you see, the thread-like thing that you see over here is what? It is actually the style and the stigma. It is style and the stigma which looks like this. Yes, it looks feathery, so it is very, very important for you to remember it. Okay, so don't forget it. It's important. Now I'll just sum it up. Wind pollination, I'm going to sum it up. Listen to me very carefully. Let's just decode it one by one. First thing, when you talk about pollen grain, it is light and it is non-sticky in nature so that it can travel through. Okay. Second thing, when you talk about the stamen on which you have the pollen grains and stuff like that, the stamen has to be well exposed such that the wind can carry the pollen grains easily. Okay. Now talking about the stigma, they have to receive the pollen grains, which is why they are usually large and they are feathery as well. Cool. Okay. Now what about the flowers? Flowers are usually many. They are clumped up together. But when you talk about individual flowers, they will have just one ovule per ovary. Now what are the examples? Corn cob. What is the example? Corn cob, and also you have grasses. Grasses is the major example. In corn cob, the tassels that you see is nothing but the stigma and the style. Cool. Clear? That's all for wind pollination. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. We'll go on to the next one. If you have doubt, ask me the doubt. Ma'am, how Jasmine Ma'am for pollination? Well, we'll decode it some other day. Okay, so clear, Baba. Okay, thank you so much. Let's go ahead then. The next type of pollination that we have is water pollination. Okay, what is it? It is water pollination. Now, as I said, in wind and water, if at all you compare, wind is something that is more common and water is not something that is very much common. Okay. Now, when you talk about this particular thing, you need to understand that water pollination is actually very rare in the flowering plants, and this number is important. Only 30 genera, okay, 30 genera of monocots, basically they undergo water pollination. Okay, only 30 genera of 30 genera is important, monocot is important. Please remember, they are the one that undergoes what? Water pollination. And you might have heard it in your 11th grade, that basically bryophytes, pteridophytes, they need water for pollination, they need water for pollination. So exactly, that is how it works over here. It's more common in the case of algae, in the case of bryophytes, and in the case of pteridophytes. Okay, in algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, it is most common. Cool. In the case of flowering plants means you're talking about angiosperms. Angiosperms comes at the end. First you have algae, then you have bryophytes, then you have pteridophytes, then you have gymnosperms, and then comes angiosperms, right? Now in the angiosperms, it is rare. Okay, it is mostly seen in the case of monocots and angiosperms, and that too just in 30 genera. What about others? In algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes, it's mostly common. And examples are also given over here, which you have to remember. What are the examples? The first example that you have over here is of Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Vallisneria and Hydrilla. These two plants which are there, okay, these two plants are actually freshwater plants. What are they? Freshwater. Freshwater means in that the salt content is going to be less in comparison. Okay, freshwater plants have lesser salt content. So Vallisneria, so just like how you have work from home, right? You can remember like this. VFH. V for Vallisneria, this is freshwater, and also along with that you have Hydrilla. Cool. Now, apart from that, you also have marine plants which undergoes water pollination. Example for that is what? Zoostera. It is known as Zoostera actually. It is Zoostera. It is also known as sea grass. Okay, it looks like this. It's like a grass and sea grass, right? But it is found in marine habitat, not in freshwater habitat. It's found in marine. Marine means the salt content is going to be more up there. Cool. So always remember this. I'll repeat it. Listen to me very carefully. You have Vallisneria and you have Hydrilla. VFH, okay, these basically Vallisneria and Hydra, they are fresh water. Now Zostera, or basically sea grass, which is there, it is marine water thingy, and you need to remember they also undergo water pollination. Ma'am, what about water lily, water lotus, water hyacinth, all of them which have water in their name, please understand, they do not undergo water pollination, okay, they usually rely on wind pollination or other type of pollination, but not water pollination, please remember that. Okay, now, so that is written over here. Water lily and lotus flowers emerge above the water, allowing pollinators like bee to transfer the pollen. Okay, they usually show what is they take the help of biotic agents rather than abiotic agents. Okay, now when we talk about Vallisneria, you need to remember certain thing. Okay, you have to use your imagination also. So I have taken the picture over here. So this picture is of Vallisneria, where at the top, Baba, okay, you see a big flower coming at the top. This is a female flower. Female flower is mostly on the surface level. What happens to the male flower? Male flowers, they can pluck off from here and they can come over here. Okay, they are actually submerged, but basically they move upwards. Okay, at least a few of them come upwards and they float around, and with the help of water, they come and do the pollination. So either it can be the flower which is coming, or basically the pollen grain which is there that can also transfer with the help of the water. So always understand, Vallisneria which is there, here the female flowers are going to float. The male flowers and pollen grains which is there, it can be downwards, but they drift. Okay, they move up and basically they drift towards them, showing water pollination. Now what about seagrass? Seagrass, as you can see, it's within the water. Go inside the water. Just imagine, go inside the water, you will be able to see seagrass. Okay, seagrass or Zostera which is there. Here pollination is going to happen in what? Underwater condition, not on the surface. Here it was happening on the surface, here it is happening in the underwater condition, and here the pollen grains, which they are on the water, basically within the water. You need to understand the pollen grains are going to be ribbon shaped. Why? For easy movement. For easy movement, they are going to be ribbon shaped. So please remember this. For seagrass or Zostera, right over here, what do we have? We have pollination that occurs underwater and the pollen is long and ribbon-like. Always remember. In the case of Vallisneria, as I said, it is going to be on the surface itself. Cool? Clear? And the pollen grains which is there, when it is moving through water, there are chances that it can get decayed also, no? Which is why it usually have a mucilaginous covering. That means a covering of mucus around it, such that it does not get decayed. So mucilaginous covering prevents what? Wetting in this particular case also. Cool? Understanding? I'll just brief it up. Okay, listen to me carefully. First thing, water pollination is kind of very rare. Generally, it happens in algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. What about gymnosperms? It is not given over here. What about angiosperms? It is said that it is very rare in flowering plants, that is angiosperms. If it is happening, it's happening in 30 genus or 30 genera of monocots only. 30 genera of monocots. Okay, ma'am. Fine. Let's talk about the plants which actually undergo water pollination. You have 3 examples. 2 of them are freshwater. Freshwater means the water in which salt content is less. Vallisneria and Hydrilla are example for that. Okay, one is marine water, and that is what you have, Zostera or seagrass. Zostera, or what do you have? You call this as seagrass. I hope that is also clear. Okay, that is completely done. Now, in the case of Vallisneria, the female flowers are at the top. The male flowers are over here. Some of them they pluck off and they come upwards, or they can send the pollen grains. The pollen grains come through water and does the pollination. Cool. What about Zostera on the other hand? In the case of Zostera, they are within the water in the submerged condition. So pollen grains are also going to be released in submerged condition, and basically they are going to be ribbon shaped. They are going to be what? Ribbon shaped. That is a logic that you have to apply. Now what about water hyacinth, ma'am, water lotus and things like that? They are not in submerged condition. They are not just on the top of the water. Basically they are a little more above the water, which is why pollination usually happens either through wind or basically through insects, mostly through the insects. That is the thing that you need to remember. If this is clear, give me a thumbs up. If this part of the story is clear to all of you, then give me a thumbs up. Ayyo, sir. Oh my God, yes. Nature Heaven gave me thumbs up. Always Shake also gave me thumbs up. Cool. Let's go ahead then. Okay, what about Krishna, Sinchana, Anmol? Are my dear children there? Or Tata bye-bye, went away? What's the status? Okay, anyways, just a second. Okay, where is the live? Cool. Now we go ahead with the next thing that is there. Okay, Sinchan also gave me thumbs up. Next thing which is there, and that is what? Animal and insect pollination. We have what? Animal and insect pollination. So over here is the most common thing. Okay, and you need to understand that it's not just honeybees and things like that which undergoes or which helps in biotic pollination. Rather than that, you have other organisms also. What are these other organisms? Let's read it. Bees, butterflies, flies and beetles. I know, ma'am. Wasp also we know. What about ant? Do you know about that? So ant, when they travel, some pollen grains can be attached on them, and when they move to some other place, they can transfer it. Moth, you know, bird, hummingbird, sunbird, they come and bring the nectar and all. While they do that, again they will have all this thing, pollen grains on their surface, and they can again transfer it as well. Okay, similarly you have bat. Can you imagine? Bat is also one thing. In primates you have lemurs, you have rodents as in basically talking about mice and all. They can be a biotic agent. There can be reptiles such as geckos and lizards as well. All of them, Baba, they are what? The common pollinators that we have. Sagar Chavda, hello dear. Okay, got it? I hope that clearly works. So this is the common pollinators that you have, and now we're going to talk about the flower adaptations which is there. This is very, very important. So the flower adaptations, as in what are the adaptations or what are the features of the flowers which undergo animal pollination or basically insect pollination. Okay, so over here in insect pollinated flowers, the flowers have to be large and they have to be colorful. Okay, it's not colorful as in, do you think the insects can see the colors? No, it's just because for the visibility in certain terms they can find, they have different ways to view it. Okay, they have certain data, but I forgot the name of it. Okay, anyways, so yes, they have to be large, they have to be colorful, and they have to be fragrant. Apart from that, they have to be nectar rich. Why nectar rich? Because over here the plant says that Macha, I can give you nectar. You come here, when you drink the nectar, when you take the nectar, my pollen grains are going to be on the surface, and when you go away basically to some other plant, you can just transfer it for me. So easy as that. So always remember over here, the insect pollinated flowers, they're usually large, okay, and they're colorful and they're fragrant and they can be nectar rich as well. Okay, now the small flowers, if at all they are there, they are going to be grouped up together. If at all they are small flowers, they are going to be grouped up together in the form of what? Inflorescence, to look big. The small flowers comes together to form inflorescence just to look big. That is one thing. Okay, now the plants which are being pollinated by flies and beetle, you need to understand that the fly and the beetle which is there, it does not like good smell, it likes bad smell. So in that particular case, those type of flowers which are going to be undergoing a pollination with the help of fly and beetle, they usually secrete what? Foul odor, bad smell, such that it can attract them. Cool. Now, last one is what? Sticky pollen. Sticky pollen, as you know, over here, the pollen has to be sticky. You do not have any choice like wind pollination. The reason being that if the pollen grain is not sticky, whatever organism comes up there, they will not be getting it on the surface, the pollen grains on the surface, and the pollen will not be transferred also, which is why we require the pollen grains to be what? Sticky. This is very, very, very important. Cool. I hope that works. Yes, so I'll just repeat it, listen to me carefully. In the case of insect pollinated flowers, they have to be large as in if at all they're made up of small flowers, the small flowers have to clump up together to form inflorescence. Apart from that, they have to be colorful, they have to be fragrant, they have to be nectar rich also. And the pollen grains which are there, they have to be sticky such that it can be easily stickable and it can move around with the help of the organisms that are moving around. Now, if at all a plant is being pollinated by a fly or a beetle, in that case, it should be producing a foul odor to attract them. Cool? Yes. And as I said right now, over here, the plants which are there, they want pollination to happen, which is why they have some offerings to give. They have some things to give the organisms also, such as nectar and also pollen grain. So pollen grain is not just for transferring, pollen grain is for the organisms to eat also. There are some organisms which takes up all the pollen grains from them and go and feed their children out there. You get it? It's like that also. Why? Because the pollen grain is very, very nutritious. Now in the process, not like all of it is given. Some of it might stick here and there, and that can help in pollination. So nectar and pollen is one thing that you can give. The second thing is that some of the plants, they provide some safe space, a bedroom for the organisms to live, to lay their eggs and do things like that. Okay, so some flowers offer safe place for the egg laying as well, and the example for that is what? This thing. Have you seen this? Now this NCERT, this is given in your NCERT, and you have to guess who is who. So this is Amorphophallus. It is what? Amorphophallus. This is one of the largest. It is 6 feet tall, as you can clearly see over here. It has a very foul smell, but you need to understand that basically apart from it's not having a, that is actually Rafflesia. It does not have a very foul smell. I meant to say it is very big, and one thing that you have to remember is that over here, what is it providing to the pollinators which are there? The pollinators which are coming in over here, they provide the safe space for the laying of their eggs. That is a role of Amorphophallus, and in that particular case, pollination also eventually happens very smoothly. Now apart from that, you have one more example, and that is of yucca and the moth. So this is yucca. Now the moth looks like just like the yucca, one particular part of the yucca, right? This is moth and this is yucca plant, and basically both of them, they will not live without each other. They cannot live without each other. Why? The reason being that the moth which is there helps in pollination, and the yucca plant which is there, it provides a safe space for the moth to lay their eggs. So if at all it is not providing the space, what is going to happen? The Papa yucca guy will not have a, Papa moth guy will not have a space to lay their eggs. If at all the moth is not pollinating, basically yucca will get extinct. That is how it has went until now. So if at all there is any change in the case of yucca over here, it will be having some changes over, if at all there are any changes happening in the yucca, there will be some changes in the moth also. So please remember that. So yucca and the moth lays eggs in the ovary, pollinates the flowers, both of them obligately, that means permanently, depend upon each other. Remember that. Cool? Yes. Now, Sagar, you should read from this channel for KCET. Thank you so much, Sagar. That's so sweet of you for saying that. It's a good channel for KCET biology. Oh my God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I scored 40 in bio. Ma'am, make a video on top pharmacy college. Sagar, I'm trying. Trust me on that, but it's too complicated. Yes, but still. And what happened to my health? My health, I actually have a very bad headache from few days now. Even my eyes are getting red somehow. So yes, that is one thing, that is one major problem, but yeah. So ma'am, please can you tell me your name? My name is Jasmine. You can call me JJ if at all you want. Harsha ma'am, useful for re-NEET madam this lecture. Harsha, I'll recommend, this is actually for KCET. For NEET, you have to go in bit more depth. So there are other teachers who are taking NEET in this particular channel. You can check out those sessions, okay? Yeah, and if you just want to do revision, yes, that might be working well, but yeah. Cool? Yes. So that's about what? Animal and insect pollination, and with that we have covered the agents of pollination as well. Now we have a question, and the question goes like this. Which of the following aquatic plant does not show pollination by water? Which of the following aquatic plant does not show pollination by water? Vallisneria, Hydrilla, water hyacinth or Zostera? Always Sheikh says the answer for this question is C, water hyacinth. What about others? Nature Heaven also says C. Okay, what about others? Still waiting. Sinjana says C. Okay, everyone says C, so we have to lock it. Water hyacinth is the answer, because we studied about it, that basically it's basically insects who pollinate the water hyacinth and things like that. It's not going to be water pollinated. Yes. Now this was 2021 KCET question. Imagine. Okay. And now we go ahead with the next thing, that is outbreeding devices. Children, you have the energy to go ahead? Do you have the energy to go ahead with the next topic? Ma'am, I also said C. Where are you? Okay. Somehow, Anmol, your name was not there for the answers. I'm so sorry. Okay, Anmol also said C. Okay, guys, do we have the energy for going ahead with the next topic, that is outbreeding devices? If yes, give me thumbs up. We can go ahead. If no, just let me say no. Okay, thumbs up is there, so I think we can go ahead. So outbreeding devices. Outbreeding devices, what do you mean by that? I told you over here, listen to me very carefully, okay? I told you if at all inbreeding is happening, as in self-pollination, one plant, say male, female gamete from the same plant, it's coming, fusing again and again, again and again. What is going to happen? If at all this plant has some toxic character, it is just going to be passed on. No good character. Passed on, passed on, passed on. This is inbreeding, and later on the problem that it causes is can be death of the plant or probably no proper growth. All of this is known as what? Inbreeding depression. What is it known as? It is known as inbreeding depression. One very, very, very important thing. Okay. So need is what? Outbreed. So inbreeding depression is being caused, and because of which we say that plant says that I cannot tolerate this. I have to make sure that there is no inbreeding happening. So I am going to figure out my outbreeding devices. So outbreeding devices are nothing but some processes with the help of which plants basically do not allow self-pollination to happen. It restricts self-pollination. So the methods by which plant can stop self-pollination to happen, or basically inbreeding depression to happen, is known as outbreeding devices. And then when you talk about each of them separately, you get to understand things even more better. So the first mechanism is time difference. What do you mean by that? The pollen is released, but the stigma is not mature yet. There is no synchrony between pollen release and stigma maturity. You know, you needed this for autogamy. Now you're not making that happen. So time difference, when pollen release and stigma receptivity is not synchronized, in this way you can prevent what do you say, self-pollination, and you can promote cross-pollination. Right? Okay, this is one thing. Second thing is spatial separation. Spatial separation means over here you need to understand that, listen, if at all stigma is at this top and the pollen is over here, do you think the pollen can go up over here? It's very difficult, right? This is known as spatial separation. Anther and the stigma are positioned differently. Again, whenever we spoke about autogamy, the features of it, we studied that they had to be basically close, they have to be together, and they need to have synchrony. All the opposite things of autogamy can be put over here. So anther and the stigma are positioned what? Differently in the case of this mechanism that is known as spatial separation. The third one is self-incompatibility. What do you mean by that? Self-incompatibility is a genetic mechanism. Please remember that. What is it? It is going to be a genetic mechanism where one very important thing is going to happen. And I'll tell you what is that important thing. So over here the stigma is there, the pollen is there. The pollen comes and lands, and stigma is like, I don't care. Okay, I don't care, because this here genetics is playing a very important role. The pollen which is there could be of the same species, could be of everything will be similar. Okay, Kundali, every perfect match, 10 on 10 match is there, but it does not allow the pollen tube growth formation to happen. There is some chemical blockage that is happening out there. You know, pollen pistil interaction to happen properly, then only double fertilization, or basically fertilization could happen later on, right? Over here, that is being stopped, and this is a genetic mechanism. You do not allow pollen tube growth to happen over here, and that is known as what? Self-incompatibility mechanism. Cool? It's a genetic mechanism. Please remember that. And now the last one that we have is production of unisexual flowers. This also in autogamy we studied, all the flowers have to be bisexual, both male and the female part will be there. You only imagine, okay, now you only imagine if the condition is like this. If there is a plant, there is a flower, and the flower you just have the female part. How do you think autogamy can happen? You need the male part also, right? So production of unisexual flower is also something that was taken up by the plants, saying that I do not want self-pollination to happen. Now, listen. Here things get a bit complicated, and I want to go ahead with this. Before I go ahead, I just want to revise such that the other 3 points are super clear. Okay, first one, What is outbreeding devices? The ways or the mechanisms through which plant can prevent inbreeding depression or can prevent cell pollination and can promote what? Cross pollination. Someone was saying that, Sheikh was saying that. Okay. Now going ahead, we spoke about the mechanism. First mechanism is what? Time difference. Time difference means pollen is released but the stigma is not receptive, or the stigma is receptive but the pollen is not being released at the time. So that is time difference. First mechanism. Second mechanism is spatial separation. Pollen and the carpel as well as the stamen is positioned in a different manner such that pollination cannot happen smoothly. Third one is self-incompatibility. That means even though the pollen grain land at the time when the stigma is receptive, still the stigma is not allowing the growth of pollen tube. This is a genetic mechanism that stops pollen tube growth formation to happen, or it does not allow pollen to germinate. Okay, now the last one is production of unisexual flowers. If at all they do not have a partner, do you think autogamy can happen? Self-pollination can happen? No. Right? Now, here we have two separate mechanisms. And this can confuse you, which is why you need to hear me out carefully. So, the thing is, there is one plant, there is another plant. Here this plant which you see has female flowers. Okay? There is another plant and this plant has what? Male flowers. This is plant 1 and this is plant 2. Are they unisexual flowers, children? Are these unisexual flowers? Yes. They just have one sexual organ, that is the female part. Are they unisexual flowers? Yes, they just have one sexual organ and that is the male part. This thing can happen. In this case, automatically the plant which is there, it will say that cross-pollination is the only way to happen. Xenogamy is the only way. From here to here, the pollen grains have to come. Right? There is no other way for pollination to happen. So anyway, xenogamy is going to happen in this particular condition. Do you think geitonogamy can happen? Geitonogamy means two flowers of the same plant. But here both of them are female. How do you think geitonogamy will happen? So I will say geitonogamy is not taking place. Geitonogamy is not taking place. What about autogamy? Autogamy to anyway cannot happen. From here to here it has to happen, but there is no such thing. So autogamy is not also happening over here. Only xenogamy is happening. What do you call these type of, okay, what do you call these type of plants which have unisexual flowers in two separate plants? Or basically when I say that there is a female plant and there is a male plant. Not just a female flower, it's a total female plant. And this is what? A male plant. What do you call this type of plants as? I say that this condition is known as dioecious condition. These are what? Dioecious plants. They are dioecious plants, as in two separate. Di means two separate plants are there. I hope that works. Cool? Yes? Okay, that is dioecious plants. Here unisexual flower work like this. Only xenogamy is going to happen. Geitonogamy and autogamy is not going to happen. Guys, is it clear? It is very, very, very important thing. Example for this dioecious plant is papaya. Is what? Papaya. Very, very important. Okay. Now we come with the next topic or the next type of plant, which is basically known as monoecious plant. Now the thing about monoecious, you need to understand it, listen to me carefully, otherwise you're not going to understand anything, okay? In monoecious plant, you have the female flower and you have the male flower. Are these unisexual flowers? Yes, this is a unisexual flower, only female part is there. This is unisexual flower, only male part is there. But is this a unisexual plant? Is this a unisexual plant? No ma'am, both the sexes are there in one particular plant. So I say monoecious plants means you will have both the sexes in one plant. But they are unisexual flowers, right? Both the plants, both the sexes are there in one plant. This is not a unisexual plant, but it has unisexual flowers. Here they were unisexual flowers and had unisexual plant also. This is not the case over here. So in this case, do you think gytonogamy can be prevented? Okay, autogamy you can prevent. That is a type of self-pollination. So autogamy definitely you can prevent. Okay, what about gytonogamy? Gytonogamy genetically is like autogamy, even though it's cross-pollination. Genetically it's like autogamy. No, do you think that will happen? It will also be prevented? No. From here to here, pollens can go from two flowers of the same plant. So gytonogamy can still happen. Gytonogamy can still happen. And over here, yes, it forces to do what? Xenogamy also. It helps in xenogamy also. So always understand, unisexual flowers can be like this on unisexual plants, that is known as dioecious plant. Example is papaya. Or it can be like this also, which is there in the monoecious plant. Okay, in the case of monoecious plant, if at all it is there, it prevents autogamy for sure, but not gytonogamy. Gytonogamy could still be there. This is very, very, very important. I hope you guys are understanding it. Yes, understanding, children? How many questions come from KCET in this particular series, from this particular chapter? Previous to previous year, it was 3. Okay, 3 or 4, 3, 4, something like that. Okay, this year I have to check. I didn't exactly check the number of questions. The maximum number of questions of when is 7 questions. Okay, 7 questions. This is a high priority chapter. So once you're done with molecular base of inheritance, principle of inheritance, these are 2 very important topics. After that comes sexual reproduction, human reproduction, and things like that. Okay, so this is an important chapter, so do not miss it up. It's important and it's easy also. Cool. And ACE means to win. ACE means to boost up, to win. That is the meaning of ACE. Children, have you understood this? This is important. Your questions will be coming. In papaya, xenogamy is going to happen. Gytonogamy and autogamy is not going to happen. You should know that. Yes, that is correct. Xenogamy will happen. Gytonogamy and autogamy is going to be prevented. Okay? So please listen to me. This is very, very, very important. All of you who have it clear, please give me a thumbs up. Fast. Give me thumbs up and we will move on to the next topic. Ma'am, you look cute with open air, but it's too hot, da. Thank you, though. Okay, Sunchana gave me thumbs up. Always Sheikh also gave me thumbs up. So, yes. So over here, monoecious plant example, please remember it's castor and maize. Okay, CM, Chief Minister. Castor and maize, they are monoecious and basically they have unisexual flowers. But always remember, they can prevent autogamy, but not gytonogamy. Gytonogamy will still be there. Okay, so prevents autogamy, not gytonogamy. And xenogamy can also be happening out there. In the case of dioecious plants such as papaya, autogamy and gytonogamy, both of them can be prevented. Okay, and xenogamy will definitely happen. Cool? So this part of the story is also complete like that. This is what you mean by outbreeding devices. Khatam. This is how castor look. You know, you might have heard about castor oil. So castor comes under monoecious plant having unisexual flowers. So this is how castor looks. Here the flowers which are there, they are unisexual. One will be male, one will be female, like that. Now over here you have papaya. Papaya, there is male plant where you have flowers like this. You have female plant that is separate, having just female flowers. Cool? Yes. Okay. Now going ahead. Done, right? Okay. Going ahead, the last topic for the day, it is artificial hybridization. With that, we are going to stop this particular session. So listen to me very carefully. Guys, will my open hair, close hair come in your examination? Will that help you in your examination? What is going to help you? Me doing bakar right over here, talking about things, that is going to help you. So make sure you listen to me carefully, right? That is very, very important. Yeah, you guys are my friends, right? So you should be listening to me very carefully, giving your best in your examination, making me super proud and telling ma'am, Jasmine ma'am, we did it. Okay, I'll be super proud. Akka, I have one doubt. Yellangiri, yes, tell me dear. Last topic, yes, this is the last topic. Ma'am, pollen pistil interaction, Sinchana, we spoke about it in the previous session, class 2. Okay, pollen pistil interaction, double fertilization, everything was discussed in the previous session. So, okay. Now, artificial hybridization means what? So, listen to me. Okay, there are 2 plants. Okay, one plant is very good, as in it helps in preventing pest attack. Okay, no organism can eat up this plant because this particular plant is pest resistant. There is another plant which says that I am drought resistant. Even if there is less amount of water, I can still survive. That means two different plants having good quality, right? Now what if I want these two characters to be seen in a new plant, a progeny plant, their progeny, and I want to see it. It's not happening, it's not going to happen naturally. I am doing it. This is known as artificial hybridization. You're making a hybrid, but artificially. This requires human interference. This is not a natural process. It requires human interference, and always remember, okay? And always remember, this is what... Norman, how are you? Oh my God. This is what I was talking about. I want you guys to come back and just say these type of things. I mean, like, that's so cute. By the way, Norman is your senior, guys, and yes. I hope you're doing great. Okay. Now, when I say about this, you need to understand that this comes under crop improvement program. Crop improvement program means I am basically making sure the health of the plant is being improved by hybridizing two different type of plants, right? So please remember, this is crop improvement. This comes under crop improvement program, where I am going to take two plants which are good for two different things. Okay. Now, listen. The problem that we could encounter, or the steps which are involved in artificial hybridization, goes like this. Suppose there is a flower over here. This flower has the female part, but also the male part. What is going to happen? The male pollen grains are going to land on the female part. That is going to happen. We want to prevent that, right? We want to prevent that. We need to remove the, the pollen grains out there, because we do not want that type of fertilization to happen again. So what do? We remove the male parts from here. That means we remove the anther from here, or basically we remove the stamen totally from here. What do you call this process as? We call this process as what? Emasculation. What do you call it? Emasculation. Emasculization means basically removing the masculine part, that is the male part, right over here. Why? Because you're worried that later on the pollen grains can land over here and can undergo self-pollination. So the first process that we have over here is what? Emasculation, where you do removal of anthers from bisexual flowers. Now on the other hand, suppose it was a unisexual flower. Okay, only one sex was there. That is only female. Do you think you need emasculation to be done? It's only required if at all the plant is what? Bisexual. Always remember. Okay. Now once you have removed it, okay, now once you have removed it, what's the next thing that you're going to do? You're going to cover it up quickly. Why? Because another pollen grain from some other plant can also come and land. But we don't want that. We want the pollen grains that we are going to select to land on this particular thing, right? So for that, we are going to do bagging. So first is emasculation, where we remove the anther. Second one is bagging. After in bagging, during the time of bagging, what is going to happen? We are going to wait such that the stigma becomes receptive. We'll wait, okay, stigma will become receptive. Now, later on, what we're going to do? We're going to open this bag. Oh, by the way, let it be closed itself, okay? While this is happening, we are going to collect the pollen grains from the specified plant which we wanted. We will collect the pollen grains, then we will open this, and we are going to put the pollen grains on the stigma. We are doing it. It's not naturally happening. Now, again, we will be rebagging it. Why do you need to rebag it? Because, again, some other pollen grains could also be coming and landing. We put our pollen grains, but other pollen grains could also be coming. We never know. So, to prevent that, we rebag it. Okay, so this is very, very, very important. Please remember that. So, I'll tell you once more. Listen to me carefully. First thing, you're going to remove the male part if at all it is bisexual flower, because you do not want self-pollination to happen. You remove the male part, okay, emasculation. Second thing, you do not want any other pollen grains to come and land over it. That is why you bag it. And also you want to make sure that the stigma is receptive. So you give some time. By that time, you take the pollen grains from the other plant that you wanted, other good plant that you wanted. Now you open this bag, put the pollen grains out there, and then you rebag it. Why? Because now the pollen pistil interaction, basically pollen tube growth, everything should happen smoothly. There should not be another pollen grain coming up over here disturbing the whole process. That's all. And then you tag it up. You tag it up saying that this and this plant is certain I crossed, so that I remember that this is how it has went. This is the basic process that we have. Make sure you remember it carefully. Okay? Ayyo, Akka, please clarify my doubt. You're looking beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay. Yes, as Sheikh said, dear, please make sure you watch the first and the second one. If at all you have any doubt, it will be sorted out. Okay? Bag like butter paper. Exactly. You put bag like butter paper for bagging it up. So, the purpose of artificial hybridization is cross different species, genera, for superior commercial variety. Superior commercial variety means the ones that are best in the market. Superior commercial varieties. Okay? And this comes under what? Crop improvement program, as I told you. And it's a process where you need human interference. First step, emasculation. Second step, bagging. Then what do? We take the pollen grains and we put it up, dust it up. And then we do rebagging also. We do rebagging as well. Pollination process and then rebagging, and after rebagging we do tagging also. We tag it up that this is what we have mixed up. That's all. Okay, for unisexual flowers you do not require emasculation, please remember that. Cool. Okay, so let's go. There's a question for you guys to solve. Please solve this. Identify the correct order of steps involved in artificial hybridization in plants. So, Yelam Giri, what exactly is your doubt, dear? I do not get your doubt actually. First option is correct. Is it? First option is correct. Check. Once more. Go through the options carefully. Norman says, ma'am, still the results are not out, but our energy is same as it was. Oh my God, is it? That's crazy. Good. Okay. Hello, Noora. C. So everyone says C. Always Sheikh says C. Norman says C. Nature Heaven says C. Sinchana also says C. C is what? First is emasculation, that means removal of anther, that means stamen, and then you bag it up for maturation. Further, you do artificial pollination and then you rebag it up. This is the correct one. Why is this not the correct one? Artificial pollination, first thing you do artificial pollination, wrong. Rebagging again, wrong. Bagging again, wrong. First of all, you do all this thing, then only you will do with this. No, this is what 2019 question. Okay, it is what? 2019 question, and basically you have solved that also. And now comes very important thing. Everyone who feels that these sessions are helpful for you, please understand that we have launched one-year online course for KCET 2027 champions. It's known as Pariksha Veera batch, and the classes will be starting up by mid-June most probably. And the pricing for it is ₹3499. So if at all you're someone who is interested, make sure you check out the link that is given in the description section of this particular video. It could be really helpful for you guys. Okay, only if at all you're interested, you can check that out. Now, when is your next class, ma'am? When is my next class? It should be day after tomorrow. Yes, so tomorrow physics will be there, day after tomorrow most probably my class will be there. Anmol, what is different in the batch than YT is that basically there you are going to get one by one each and everything. For example, there will be daily practice papers out there. There will be PU1 and PU2 covered. There will be more set of teachers, not like us only would be there. There will be multiple other teachers also that there could be to guide you guys. Okay, and plus you will get the pedagogy access. There are lots of access that you're going to get. Okay, pedagogy apps, access to 100 plus ebooks and things like that. And mock test will also be there, and there will be live and recorded sessions taken in app, not through YouTube. It will be taken through the app. Okay, option C, Akka, perfect. Okay, so yes. Now there's one more question, and you guys were saying about this option C is correct for the answer. In some plants, stigma and anther mature at different times because it prevents cross-pollination. Is it? C, yeah. Is it C? In some plants, stigma and anther mature at different times. They are maturing at different times because it attracts pollinators, wrong. It facilitates self-pollination. In that case, it is maturing at the same time. It prevents cross-pollination, wrong. It facilitates cross-pollination. D should be the answer. No. Who is saying C is the answer? D. It facilitates cross-pollination, okay? Yes. Yellamgari, tomorrow at 4:30 there will be a class, but that will be for physics. Somik sir is going to take up that class. Day after tomorrow, you might have my class. Yeah? Yeah, mine is right. Okay, perfect. Okay. So, that's all for today, and I hope everyone who have watched this video have subscribed to the channel and you're understanding things as well. If you are, do let me know in the comment section. If you have any doubts, do let me know, and please join the WhatsApp channel for getting all the updates regarding the classes. There, the links are being sent. Okay? Oh my God, open it. Yes, that. Cool, works. So shall we take a leave now? Okay, so see you all with the next class, and thank you so much, Sheikh, Sinchana, Nature Lover, Nature Heaven, and Yellamgiri, Anmol, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me a company in today's class. Wish to see you soon in the next class as well. And make sure you complete the part 1 and part 2 lectures. It will be beneficial for you. If at all you are with me throughout in a correct order, it will definitely help you out. Yeah? So, ma'am, thanks for teaching. It helped me a lot. You're most welcome now, man. It was my pleasure to teach you guys. Yes, Yellamgiri, tell me up. Oh, that's so sweet. Always Sheikh, dear, as I said, I'll definitely try for it. I'm not giving you a word, but I can definitely try to look out for the best ones and to give you, okay? I'll try not giving you a word. Yes. So that's all. Bye-bye. Lots of love to everyone out there, and also Norman. Bye-bye. Lots of love.